versus the book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. It's your quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 years, 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the book.
And now you have to qualify in these majors. You got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness. And I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on sport.
And welcome in a very happy Wednesday to you now, the 18th of September. Can you believe that? And we're just about 11 games away from the end of the regular season in Major League Baseball. We've got some teams that are looking to clinch their postseason berth here tonight. We've got one team that already has, and we have a whole lot of scenarios that we need to go over here to see. As still so much to be determined in Major League Baseball, and a rare Wednesday in Major League Baseball where there are only 3-day games on the slate, which is interesting enough. But as we wind down Major League Baseball, we get revved up for a huge week in college football, week 4, not to mention week 3 in the NFL. I'm Joe Raineri. This is Game Time Decisions, and as always, we appreciate you stopping by with us here as it's getting good now, is it not? You've got the end of Major League Baseball's regular season. That's upon us, but we're still trying to learn a whole lot about a couple of 2-0 teams in the NFL, a whole bunch of 0-2 teams in the NFL. The dreaded week 3 is upon us here, where no team in their right mind wants to go 0-3 to start the NFL season, because they know, as the rest of the betting world knows, the chance of that team actually making it to the playoffs in the postseason becomes, well, virtually impossible. So we do have a few of those teams that we're going to break down over the next couple hours for you. Try to figure out who's a contender and who is a pretender. And we're dealing with the same thing in college football this week, also week 4 of the college football season. And we're trying to grasp some of the blue bloods and just the absolute ridiculousness that the season has brought there. Florida State comes to mind here. Is Florida State as bad as their 0-3 record? Is the University of Florida as bad as they have shown over the last couple of weeks, especially at home in the swamp? Should Florida be laying almost a touchdown on the road against anybody? And should Florida State be an actual favorite at 0-3 at home to the Cal Bears, who notoriously in this spot have been very profitable as a road dog to back? We're going to talk a lot about those kinds of situations that will appear this week on the college football slate and the NFL slate. But our focus here with Major League Baseball is shout out and congratulations to the Milwaukee Brewers, who are once again National League Central champions. They ended up clinching their second straight division title. And by the way, I believe it's their third in the last 4 years. Why? Well, because the Cubs did what the Cubs usually do. They lost this afternoon to who? The Oakland A's. So now the Brewers, with that loss by the Cubs, have become the first team to clinch a postseason berth this season here. Now, I will tell you this. There seem to be an awful lot of people that forgot the Milwaukee Brewers were in this division way back in April and May when the season started. The Cubs and the Cardinals were your preseason favorites in that division. And the Brewers were, quite honestly, the third choice behind, or just in front of, rather, the Pirates, with no Corbin Burns, with Woodruff hurt, and with Devin Williams starting the season on the IL. There were a whole lot of concerns for the Milwaukee Brewers. But what ends up happening? Well, Milwaukee turns out and has a unbelievable first half of the season. They moved into sole possession of first place back in May 9th, in fact, and they have had at least a 5-game lead since July 20th, and at least an 8-game lead in that division since August 14th. And that is just absolutely crazy. And what it tells me, and what it should tell you if you haven't been following along in Major League Baseball, that the Milwaukee Brewers have been the most consistent team in Major League Baseball all year long. They have been rock solid and doing it with a bunch of different starting pitchers. They didn't have that bullpen fully ready to go until just before the All-Star break. But man, oh man, you want to talk about hitting the ball, playing great defense, doing all the little things right. That's exactly what the Milwaukee Brewers have done. And when we've looked this week at what the odds are moving forward for a possible National League pennant, not to mention a possible World Series title, they are still being very, very much disrespected in the marketplace. And don't forget, they had to overcome Christian Yelich, who was also ruled out for season-ending back surgery. You may recall that happening in the middle of the season. But they were amazing with him in the lineup. He was having an unbelievable year until, of course, the back went, and so did the rest of his season. But they've overcome an awful lot here, and they've got an opportunity. We talked about the Arizona Diamondbacks last year, who at this time were playing their best baseball, and they rode that right into a National League pennant as well as a berth in the World Series. It's easy to pick the Dodgers. It's easy to pick the Phillies. It's easy to pick the chalk in these situations here. But if Major League Baseball in recent memory has taught us anything, it's that don't necessarily be looking at the big names and the blue bloods. Pay attention to some of these teams that have been quietly flying under the radar and getting it done. And Milwaukee has certainly been one of those teams all year long that nobody in the market has not really given them the full credit for. So they have got a lot on. They are getting ready to go. They are also, by the way, in the market to actually get the top seed in the National League. And because of the way Major League Baseball has set up the playoffs and the formats, guess what matters this year? Well, finishing with the best record in your division, in your conference. So in the National League, Can the Brewers land the number one spot with a potential bye there? It would certainly set up for a rotation there. And on the flip side, you have the Yankees, who are one game away from making sure that their postseason berth is solidified here. But I don't think over these last 11 games, as the Yankees will be out west again against Seattle, they handled their business there last night rather easily. But I doubt very much anybody in the Yankees locker room is going to be celebrating clinching a playoff spot. They are going to not only look to punch the ticket to the playoffs, they are going to want that number one seed in the American League. And of course, have the ability and any advantage that you can have, obviously, to set your rotations up against any of the wild card teams. That's what they're looking to do. So I would not anticipate this week the Yankees or anybody else for that matter just being happy to get in and think that maybe there'll be an opportunity to fade these teams after they clinch the postseason. That is not going to be the case. So there's still a lot more riding on the line in Major League Baseball as the Braves are trying to hold on. The Mets are trying to punch their ticket. Arizona trying to solidify their spot here. The Padres, I mean, you go down a list. How about the Twins trying to hold on against the Guardians tonight? We got much more in Major League Baseball coming up as Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFP to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was only going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
And welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. A very happy Wednesday to you. I'm Joe Raineri. Appreciate you stopping by as we're getting ready for what should be another epic week and weekend of college football, week 4, if you can believe that. We're almost a third of the way through the college football season here already, and we have so many questions still about a lot of teams. And in a year in which the entire playoff process in college football has changed, and it'll be the first time that we get 12 teams this year battling for a national championship. Still a lot of questions on a lot of teams here, but as the schedules now move into out of the non-conference games into conference games, we are certainly, I think, rather quickly going to learn a little bit more about some of the teams here that we thought might be contending for a national championship early, but not with what we've seen here through the first couple of weeks of the season. We'll have much more college football coming up to talk about with our good friend CT Betts. Chris Thurston will be here, and a very special guest here. We're bringing in the one and only legendary handicapper Kenny White will stop by, and we'll have a little battle here with Kenny and CT, and we'll get their thoughts on some of the popular games and games that we're all going to be watching here this weekend, this Saturday in college football. In fact, we got a lot more top 25 versus top 25 games this week than we did last week, and there is a huge one coming up on Friday, and that's going to take place in Lincoln, Nebraska. So a lot more college football coming your way here, as I don't think anybody believes Illinois is as good as some Illinois fans think they are. But we're going to find out whether or not Matt Rule and Nebraska are as good as we all think they are. And I do believe that Matt Rule has got the quarterback he's wanted, and I do believe he's got the kinds of players that he wants in order to do what he did at a couple of other stops along the way. You may recall what he did to the Baylor Bears University after rebuilding that program, or Rutgers. This is what this guy does, and outside for a couple of years trying to take that blueprint to the NFL and work for what is now, I think we can all admit, maybe one of the worst owners in the history of the NFL. It didn't matter whether it was Matt Rule or Frank Reich or anybody else. There's a lot of issues in Carolina here, and we've got a lot on that coming up as they get ready, the Carolina Panthers, to bench their number one draft pick from just a year, 2 years now, Bryce Young going to the bench. Andy Dalton is getting ready to take the helm. Will it make a difference? I think Matt Rule is probably laughing a little bit right now and saying, you thought I was the problem. Yeah, no, don't think he is the problem. I do think he has got Nebraska back to where they want to be. We also have a lot of questions in the NFL coming up this weekend. For instance, are the Saints as good as they appear to be? 2-0 team. They're going to take on the Eagles at home. The Eagles, of course, coming off of that unbelievable loss to the Atlanta Falcons on Monday night to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, just absolutely one of the all-time greatest fades in prime time that there ever has been as a quarterback in the NFL. And the only team to actually make him look competent in prime time was Philadelphia this week, and a Vic Fangio defense in which we're all still scratching our heads. The problem is New Orleans really going to drop 35, 40 points a game? And anything that you've seen from Philadelphia's defense, does that lead you to believe they're going to be able to stop them on the road? I think that is one of the more intriguing games coming up this weekend. And what about Dallas, who played New Orleans and gave up 40-plus points at home, who's Dak Prescott, congratulations on your contract, but does that look like a $200 million quarterback to you? That was not great by the Dallas Cowboys. Mike Zimmer, the new defensive coordinator, I mean, they've got some injuries, I'll give them that, but that was an unmitigated disaster in Dallas last weekend against New Orleans. So now you got a question. All right, if Philadelphia can't win a game that they're supposed to win and Dallas is getting blown out at home, who is the team to beat in the NFC East? Anybody? Bueller? Yeah, well, it ain't Washington. I'll tell you that, although I love Jaden Daniels, I've been a big fan. I said I thought he was going to be really the one draft pick in this past draft, the one quarterback taken that we were going to say Washington won this year's draft, because I'm not a big Caleb Williams guy, but ironically enough, we're going to be able to see both of these guys in action as Washington is going to be taking on Cincinnati on a Monday night game coming up this week. And the NFL, heck of a job with the scheduling. Not one, but two Monday night football games at the same time. We're basically going to be getting Jacksonville, Buffalo, as well as Cincinnati and Washington at the same time on Monday night. No East Coast, West Coast. So there's going to be a whole lot of football this weekend. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and of course, two games now on Monday. Caleb Williams is going to be taking on another up-and-coming young quarterback named Anthony Richardson, who has got all the talent in the world, but has no idea who he's throwing the ball to. That game against Indianapolis, I think, is going to tell us a lot about both those teams. I have a lot of concerns about Indy heading into that game. And then, of course, Houston and Minnesota. Is Sam Darnold, has he been resurrected? Is this the Sam Darnold we have all been waiting for, that the Jet fans thought they were going to get? Instead, they got Adam Gase. And boy, that didn't work out all that well. So I love a lot of these spots in the NFL this week. We'll talk more about that coming up. And we've got a few Major League Baseball games. First pitch coming up. We'll get you set up for those as Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on this Wednesday as Major League Baseball do or die here. Final 11 games of the regular season, a couple of games getting ready to get underway. And we told you, if you're just joining us, one team has already clinched the playoff berth, and a team that I think holds a lot of value in any future market in which you're thinking about, well, is there a dark horse maybe in this year's Major League Baseball postseason. For instance, did any of you have the Texas Rangers and Arizona Diamondbacks on your bingo card last year? I doubt it, because nobody saw that coming, but it just appears that over the last couple of seasons, Major League Baseball rewards teams that begin to play or are rolling into the playoffs playing their best baseball. And I don't know if they're playing their best baseball, but I know there has been no team more consistent this year. All they have done is won games and continued to win games and was out in front. We mentioned it. The Milwaukee Brewers, who, thanks to the Cubs losing this afternoon to the Athletics, are your first team clinched in the postseason. But we also mentioned to you that there is no reason for you to think that Peralta against Aaron Nola tonight, somehow the Brewers are going to take the night off and they're going to celebrate, given the fact that the top seed is still up for grabs. They're very much in that race to have the best record in the National League. And that's important this year because of the expanded playoffs and the ability to be able to get that bye and set your rotation up the way that you want against one of the wild card teams that you are going to have to face. So it is still pretty much a pick 'em price here, 7.5 with the Brewers at home, looking to continue to roll into the playoffs. They have been a huge story here this year with a lot of injuries, trading Corbin Burns before the season starts. Woodruff goes down early. Devin Williams was on the shelf, their leading closer. It wasn't looking good. Of course, Christian Yelich ends up going down with back surgery. He's done, and yet here they are once again heading into the postseason with a National League Central Division crown on their mantle. So I would not sleep on the Brewers as we get ready to head to the postseason. I don't know what to tell you about the Baltimore Orioles. As they are just limping to the finish line here, and they continue just to lose game after game after game and series after series. It has not been a good second half of the Baltimore Orioles, and I'll give them credit. The fact that they were as good as they were as long as they were in the first half is a testament to them. But boy, oh boy, the injuries to the starting rotation piled up. The bullpen is an absolute mess. They've already, I believe, gave Craig Kimbrell his walking papers. Now, with any luck, the Phillies will call him up and be like, hey, come on back. No, the Phillies already got enough problems of their own. They don't need Craig Kimbrell here. But the Orioles are trying to do anything and everything in order to be able to try and gain some momentum heading into this postseason. Listen, could the Yankees fall apart and the Orioles put it together in these final 11 games? Sure they could. Do I see that happening? No, I absolutely do not. I think Baltimore is a very young team. It's unfortunate with all the injuries that they've had to deal with to that starting rotation as well as their bullpen. But my goodness, they became very one-dimensional towards the end of this season here in the second half, where if it wasn't a home run, they didn't have a whole lot else to do here. So I do think that coming off of that bad loss last night in which Snell just shut them down, the Orioles need some positive momentum here. It would be great if they can get some runs here going up against Birdsong and the Giants tonight. That game is just about to get underway, but I don't know anybody that is running to the window thinking the Baltimore Orioles can be trusted with any of this right now. We told you earlier, the Yankees are just one game away from clinching their postseason berth. But again, I wouldn't anticipate Yankees partying it up after this game in Seattle tonight. They want that number one seed in the postseason, very much up for grabs for them as well. Diamondbacks already won earlier today against the Rockies. That's good. Padres getting ready to take on the Astros, and the Braves and Reds. We'll have all of that for you when Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on this Wednesday. I'm Joe Raineri, and a special treat here tonight as we get an opportunity to talk not only college football week 4, but the NFL with two of my good friends and two of the very best football handicappers you will find to the east and west of the Mississippi, in fact, as our good buddy CT Betts, Chris Thurston, is here to hang with us here and bestow some of that knowledge in college football. And we are also joined by the legendary Kenny White in the house. Gentlemen, welcome in. Let's see if we can find some bets to make here in some of these games. And CT, I'm going to start with you first because for the life of me, I can't find anybody that doesn't want to fade Arizona State at this point in the season. I believe you're going to be on that same path, though. You got no time. You're not believing in Arizona State in Lubbock, Texas against Tech here, are you?
Joe, Kenny, I keep going against the Sun Devils, and I keep getting burned, and I will stay against them here again. I gave out Texas State last week on the show +2, goes off -3. We lose by 3 after being up 21-7 at the break. I mean, the Sun Devils, they got some lucky bounces. They benefit from some turnovers. But this weekend, I think we see this Texas Tech team get the job done versus Dillingham Saturday in Lubbock. Tech off the bad loss to Washington State. They respond last week. They throttled North Texas. Joey McGuire, Joe, a guy I know personally. He used to be assistant coach at Baylor. Have a lot of respect for Joe. He's going to have the Red Raiders to play. I really like the way that Morton looked pulling the trigger last week. Taj Brooks was back. He's running like the wind and strong. That's a big help. 4 TDs last week. I'm just still not sold on Levitt, the trigger man for the Sun Devils. The mistakes are going to come. Big 12 opener for Joey and the Raiders. We'll want to send a message. I'm playing on Tech, laying the short number versus Sun Devils team that's playing over its means.
Oh, my goodness. You know, Kenny, that certainly feels like if you're expecting a defensive battle, that is not a game I would watch. I do think there's probably going to be a ton of points in that game. I'm struggling to figure out there's going to be a ton of points in a game you want to talk about, which involves Michigan, a new quarterback, but it also involves USC. So how do you approach this game with Michigan at home, again, getting points?
Hey, Joe, you're looking at a game we're getting a ton of value here.
the early lines that came out on the games of the year. This was one of the games of the year, and Michigan was a 10-point favorite over USC. Really didn't take any money on the game because people thought that's what the line should be with USC going to Michigan. Now, Michigan, they do beat LSU in the first week of the season. It was a little lucky of a game. LSU did not play well at all on either side of the football. And then USC gets Utah State, who's not very good, and destroyed them. This is going to be a much more difficult test, a true road game going into Ann Arbor. And the Wolverines obviously needed to make a decision at quarterback. It's going to be Alex Orji. And I think that's big. So many people say when you got two quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. That's true in the sense because there's two voices talking to the offensive players. They don't know which one to trust, which one's the leader. I think they finally have their leader in Alex Orji. This is a better roster from top to bottom, Michigan is, over USC. Better offense, better defense, better special teams, and the home advantage. And you're going to give me 5.5 points? Yeah, I don't care. I did lose on them versus Texas. I'm 0-1. I didn't bet against them last week because I knew that was a bad spot for them. But they're at home once again. The Trojans are traveling for the first true road game, and it's going to be a hostile environment. This is going to be a really close game, but I think Michigan wins this by a touchdown.
Yeah, it's so funny. I saw the numbers. USC doesn't travel east very often, and boy, oh boy, this is uncharted territory. They better get used to it, though. Welcome to your new conference there. CT, another game here. Shocker when I saw this was the game you wanted to talk about. Everyone loves a good car crash. There probably is no better dumpster fire than what's happening in Colorado, and it's only going to get worse here. But your Baylor Bears, are they going to add to the misery, or what do you think happens here?
Well, I think last week's win for Deion's squad just kind of inflates them in the market more than they were, right? I mean, it's still the wild, wild west out there for Deion and company. And, Joe, this is not a team. This is a group of kids playing as individuals. Aranda got to this Baylor team with like 2 or 3 minutes left in the first half last week when they were tied 3-3. He blasted them, telling them to wake up, and I'm pretty sure he got through because they outscored Air Force 25-0 in the second half. Sawyer Robertson filling in. He stepped up to the plate, had a big night, and so did the true freshman, Bryson Washington. And I know Kenny knows this guy. He's a freakish athlete. He's the running back, true sophomore. He's got some fullback in him, some tailback in him, speed, power. He plays the game aggressively. He's literally a coach's dream. He's a big boy. He's a kid that's going to run the linebacker over and then cruise by the safety. Averaged 8.8 yards last week in a breakout game. Watch out for him. Baylor returned a ton of starters, and I know that's not saying much because considering how bad this team was last year. But it looks like Dave Aranda has got to him, and this is a big, big coaching advantage. I think Kenny would probably agree with that, going in the right direction. I think they're going to give Deion a nice, warm welcome to the Big 12. I made Baylor the favorite in this game, so we'll grab the points here.
Oof. Oh, God, it'd be nothing better than that dumpster fire. They won't let Kenny White, but Deion will be banning Kenny White from watching any games. That'll be it. There ain't nobody going to be allowed in that press room after Deion continues to lose games. I'm all for it. Sign me up. Kenny, Greg Schiano, line 3, would like to know what in the hell you're thinking about not picking Rutgers in the points against Va Tech this weekend, my man.
Yeah, first of all, Joe, I have to say, why does CT look like Steve Garvey, and he's been on vacation in Hawaii for 2 weeks, and it rained the entire time? Why?
I play a lot of golf any time.
He's got a lot of SPF. He's got a lot of SPF, Kenny. A lot of SPF on him.
Well, I'll tell you, when I rated Virginia Tech out, we'll move on to football and get back to CT's tan. Virginia Tech is good. This is a very solid football team. I love their offensive line. They got 3 guys that could be all ACC. That's how good they are. They've got great wide receivers. The quarterback Jones has been very, very good. And Pry is a defensive guy that has brought in a great defensive line. They've got studs on their linebacking crew, studs on their secondary. And I know Schiano does a very good job. But he's only won 19 games in his 4 years there back at Rutgers for the second time. He did win 7 last year, but an average of 5 wins. And believe me, Virginia Tech hasn't been much better. But if you take the 2 programs over a whole over the last 50 years, Virginia Tech has been a far better program. They always have a better roster. They just haven't been coached up. I think they are now. I have them better offensively, better defensively, and better on special teams. I made this game 10. I laid 3, but you're still only looking at 3.5. I think there's a lot of value. I'm going to put 2 wine goblets on this game.
He's going to put 2 wine goblets on that game. I'm sure CT will come over the top with you at that particular point. All right, a couple of more here quick in the final 2 minutes of the college football segment. We'll do NFL coming up, but I've got to ask you both here. What is more of a disaster, CT, University of Florida or Florida State?
This year it's Florida State, what Norvell has let go on here. And I hate myself. I'm coming back with them again this week. They're going to get both starting tackles back. I think it's a huge shot in the arm. I'm laying it with the Knowles again. I think they're more of a disaster, but we're coming back with them, Joe.
Okay. Kenny, are you in agreement, Kenny, that this dumpster fire is where you're looking at this weekend again as a favorite?
You know, it's so hard coming back on a team that you've lost on every time they played so far. And I've been right there with CT betting Florida State, but I have to bet them again. I'm on them one more time. And another team I'm on this weekend is SMU. They're a team I've lost on. They have played poorly, but it is a rivalry game. They're getting points now, and I've dropped their rating. Give me the Mustangs.
Yeah, I'm going to need a goblet of my own after this segment. All right, NFL next here on the grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was only going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
All right, let's get back into it here. Week 3 of the NFL season with 2 of the best here, CT Bets, Chris Thurston, as well as the legendary Kenny White. Let's rattle through a couple of these games here coming up, the all-important. If you start 0-3, your season's pretty much over here. But talk to me here, CT. There are rumors Jordan Love is back. Is he not back for Green Bay? Does it matter to you one way or the other on how you're betting this game?
Yeah, I mean, the Packers were a big play for me last week, Joe, and what a game plan by the head coach, Matt LaFleur. truly amazing from the defense, adjusting with Willis and running the ball. Jacobs was a beast, just excellent. But I think it's a little too much to ask now to go to Nashville, play on the road versus a Titans team that could really obviously use a win. This team could easily be 2-0, but Levis's decisions has cost them, especially in the red zone. We saw the coach blast them after last week. I think the rest of the roster for the Titans looks pretty good. And I think the Pack are going to be happy if they could play ball 500 until Love is completely healthy. Now he's saying today he's going to try and play. I'm going to be shocked if he's back this early. And if he is, I really can't imagine that he's going to be very mobile. Levis still just taking too many sacks. I think he limits them. I think the Titans make adjustments here. I'll lay the short number with the Titans at home. Expect them to get their first win of the year.
Ooh, getting it done there with the Titans. All right, Kenny, I'm seeing a trend here with you. Florida State kicks our teeth in last week. You back them this week. The Philadelphia Eagles kick our teeth in Monday night, and you're going back to them this week? Are you going Eagles this week? You trust them?
Hey, first of all, I was on Atlanta on Monday night. That was one of my better plays because I love the Falcons. I'm the only person in the world that has the Falcons, the sixth best team in the NFL. I don't think anybody else has them in the top 10, but they shouldn't have won the game, obviously. Barkley makes the catch, which he probably catches that 98 out of 100 times. The game's over, but I still cover taking 6.5. I don't care if it didn't matter to me. I'm glad they did win, though, because I do have some futures on Atlanta and their win totals. But in this one this week, this is a rebound game for the Philadelphia Eagles this week. They go to the New Orleans Saints, and the Saints are getting so much love now for destroying the Cowboys. Nobody liked the Saints last week. I talked to a couple buddies that are still ticket writers in this business. Both of them said, we didn't write a ticket on the Saints all week long. Dallas was a giveaway who was going to win that game. And this week, it's going to be all Saints tickets probably. There'll be some Philadelphia Eagles because they're still a popular team. But coming off that loss, I think you're going to see Hurts and company be ready for this one. They saw everything that we saw out of the Saints. The Saints were great last week, but they're not a great team. They're just better than average. The Philadelphia Eagles are the better team here by 6 points. I think they get the W.
So Vic Fangio better figure it out on defense. Rather quickly there. Thanks so much, Vic. Let's go, CT. You and I talked about this game already this week. We're going to keep talking. I already bet the over because I can't imagine sweating out an under Detroit, Arizona. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, Joe, this team killed me last week, losing some survivors, and I had a big second half bet on them. But, right, you look at the box score, you would think that the Lions absolutely wiped the floor with the Bucs. They pretty much doubled them up in yards, and we know they have the talent. They were in the NFC Championship game last year and probably should have been in the Super Bowl. I wouldn't even say that the defense was that bad last week. They only gave up 20. Hutchinson was amazing. Sacked Mayfield 5 times. Mayfield was just extremely lucky on a lot of plays, but we know how that's the NFL and that's how it goes. And now you get a discount, right? Because the Cards, and Kyler, they blow the Rams out, who are decimated with injuries already week 2. I'm not giving up on Goff yet, Joe. I know he hasn't looked as great as he did last year, but this kid has the potential. He's a good quarterback, and he's going to be right there for the Lions. I love this spot for the Lions. Traveling here on the road, we'll lay the short number. I think the Cards are getting a little too much respect, and we'll take the Lions minus 2.5 to get the job done.
Yeah, right off the bat, too, the Arizona getting all that love in the marketplace here in this game. We shall see if that was an anomaly or not there in that last game against the Rams. Speaking of the Rams, Kenny White, there's no way the 49ers lose back-to-back games. Is that am I on the right track here?
Yeah, Joe, I didn't think the 49ers would lose a game this year, let alone lose it in the second week of the season. They're that good. The best team I've ever rated out in my time handicapping football, which is a long freaking time, over 40 years. This is the best team by far I've ever rated. They have superstars on both sides of the football, and obviously ifs and buts. But if they don't get stopped twice on 4th down while they're driving, if they don't get a block punt, if they don't have a 97-yard touchdown, which is 0.5% chance of happened, 49ers win that game last week by 2 touchdowns. I have people tell me, yeah, that Minnesota Viking defense looked good. And yeah, Brian Flores did a good job. They are a little bit better. I did improve them. The one fallacy I see with the 49ers is they've got such great pass rushers. They don't stop the run, and that's one thing they suffered from last week. They couldn't stop Minnesota when they needed to in the second half to win that game. They couldn't do it. But they'll make adjustments. And in this week against the Rams, whose offensive line is beat up and cannot run the football, that weakness will not show up for the 49ers. No Cooper Kupp. He's a 2-point position player because that's how great of a player he is. And I do have a 1.5 off for the offensive line. This 49er team is easily a 2-touchdown winner here against the Rams.
All right, we're going to play real quick here in 30 seconds. I'm going to give you a team name. You guys tell me contender or pretender. CT, Houston Texans, contender or pretender?
Contender.
Kenny, New Orleans Saints, contender or pretender?
They're an average NFL football team, but they're in a weak division. They're a pretender because the Falcons are going to beat them by 3 games.
Love the way he just sucks right up to them. Chargers, CT, contender or pretender?
Pretender. Cupcake schedule so far, and they'll get the old Chargers bug. Doesn't matter if Harbaugh's still calling the plays there or not.
Kenny White, Bet the Gambit on YouTube. Make sure you guys are following. Always a pleasure, Kenny. CT, we love you, brother. Game Time Decisions returns after this on.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was only going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on this Wednesday in the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri. Appreciate you hanging with us here as Major League Baseball in the home stretch of the regular season. There are some teams that are looking to clinch their postseason berth and roll right into the playoffs because good things happen when you start playing your best baseball this time of year. And one of those teams not playing their best baseball And limping to the finish line is the Baltimore Orioles, who coming into this game tonight at home against the Giants have dropped 7 of their last 9 games. And they got shut out in a big way yesterday against the Giants, 10-0 in that series opener. They've already let Craig Kimbrell go after another meltdown by him over the weekend. This team is sinking quickly. They are already down 1-0 in this game, top of the second, to the Giants. Hayden Birdsong on the mound for the Giants, the Giant rookie there. They are hoping they can get the bats going here and be able to win this game and try and keep pace, of course, with the New York Yankees, who are doing everything in their power to try and solidify their spot in the postseason, but more importantly, to be able to have a chance at the number 1 seed in the American League with the best record. Now, they only have a half a game on the Guardians, who are currently right now playing the Twins in Cleveland right now. The Guardians handled their business last night. So did the Yankees in blowout fashion. But the Twins are up 1-0 in this game early. Guardians up. And yes, the Yankees and the Guardians right now. And who'd have thunk it? The Guardians as battling for the best record in Major League Baseball in the American League, and what could very well be a leg up on the competition. And it's crazy when you think of that pitching staff that they rolled out this year, that starting pitching, and that they lost their ace early on with Bieber. And then it's been Carrasco and just a lively, and Gavin Williams and this whole crew of people that you would never think that you can bet on, but a solid bullpen and a unbelievable lineup this year, hitting for power and hitting for playing small ball, hitting the opposite field. They had an amazing home field advantage this year, and all of that put together, if you only need to have the lead heading into the 6th inning because your bullpen is locked down, it makes winning some of those close games a little bit easier, and that's exactly what the Guardians have done. But can they maintain as we head down the home stretch here? Can they overtake the Yankees for that number 1 best record and a bye in the postseason? I'll tell you who else seems to be, limping here just a little bit after what was a unreal stretch right around the All-Star break and coming out of it is the Houston Astros. They have cooled down a little bit, but Framber Valdez on the mound, they are taking on another team that is looking to do anything and everything in its power in order to be able to roll into the playoffs. And what many people think, and we talked about it, don't sleep on the Brewers. Well, don't sleep on the Padres because the Padres got a whole lot of things rolling in their way right now. And can they keep it up? Well, this is what many people think a possible World Series look ahead. This could be a little precursor to what we're going to get next month into the first weekend in November. Could the Astros and the Padres be who's representing the American and National League in the World Series? It's possible. And I'll tell you right now, you're going to want to try to get those tickets in, those future tickets in now, if you truly believe it. Framber going up against Dylan Cease. The Astros have won 13 of his last 14 starts of Framber. That is what you consider and what they call in the business an ace. When you can get that kind of production from one guy and the team rallies around and you can win 13 of his last 14, that's a good sign for the Houston Astros. And Dylan Cease has been just that among all the injuries to Musgrove and Darvish and others. Dylan Cease was the mainstay of this rotation, and he's been phenomenal this year, including a no-hitter. So this is the game of the night as far as I'm concerned. That, too, is going to go on a little bit later here tonight. But telling you right now, that could be a precursor to the World Series. We got much more to get to. Another hour of Game Time Decisions coming up.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
All right, welcome in, off and running another hour together here on Game Time Decisions on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri. Appreciate you stopping by as here we are, middle of September here now, the 18th of 2024. We've got week 3 of the NFL getting ready to kick off tomorrow night as the New York Jets, that's right, the New York Jets will be playing their third game in 10 days. They will be at MetLife for the season opener against their arch nemesis, the New England Patriots. And boy, oh boy, that's a heck of a way to start off week 3 in the NFL, as we have got a lot of questions about teams heading into this week. For instance, who is a legit 2-0 team right now, one that you think can actually continue to win a whole bunch of games, and who might be, shall we say, the biggest pretender at 2-0? Do the Tennessee Titans, are they really an 0-2 team? Can they get one back? We talked last hour to our good friend Chris Thurston, CT Bets. He believes this is the week that Tennessee puts it all together. Outside of a couple of just horrific turnovers and boneheaded plays by what is, for the most part, a rookie quarterback there in Will Levis, Tennessee has done everything else pretty well except punt the ball. They've had a couple of terrible special teams gaffes, and some of those little things have cost them games late. But they have certainly played well enough not to be 0-2 at this point. This is a big game, and again, the story that we're hearing today is that Jordan Love says he is good, that he is planning on going, and that is why we're starting to see the market react a little bit here. My advice to folks that are waiting to see what's going to happen with Green Bay, if you can get 2.5, then you have an opportunity to be able to use Green Bay in a teaser, one that I would consider, maybe get them up to 8.5 in a 6-point teaser, as they currently sit at that 2.5 mark. I also would not be opposed to taking a shot on the over at 30, where it's hovering around 37. If you've noticed the totals in week 3 here in the NFL, have you noticed anything strange? as we're heading into still warm weather. Weather is not an issue, but we're starting to see a lot more games where the under money is pouring in early in the week, and we're starting to see a lot of games not even break the 40 barrier here. In fact, Carolina and the Raiders were a game that opened up right around 37.5 and 38. And the minute that we learned that Bryce Young was being benched, well, boy, two things happened. Number one, Carolina was getting 7.5. They were getting over a touchdown. But boy, oh boy, not anymore. They're sitting right around 5.5 now, as Andy Dalton will be taking over under center for Carolina. The numbers bear this out. Listen, Andy Dalton is a million times an upgrade over Bryce Young. But then again, I'm probably a million times upgrade over anything that we have seen out of Bryce Young. I find the move interesting. This is a first-time head coach in Dave Canales, whose job he was hired, keep this in mind, by David Tepper, considered to be one of the worst owners in the National Football League, who has no problem changing coaches like he changes his underwear, and that's debatable. But he has no problem after a year and a half, on having a very short lease on guys and firing them, and doesn't care what it costs. They brought in Canales as the former Tampa Bay Bucks offensive coordinator. They brought him in because he was an offensive-minded guy, and I am sure he sold him on the fact that he could fix Bryce Young. And for him to go into David Tepper's office and Dan Morgan, the general manager, and for him to sit them down and say, we've got to bench Bryce Young, then there is no way he doesn't think that Andy Dalton is a huge upgrade. Because if Andy Dalton is not an upgrade, you are basically telling David Tepper, the ownership here, that your offense is terrible. If it ain't a Bryce Young problem, and obviously Andy Dalton doesn't find any more success, whose problem is it then, Dave Canales? Yeah, let me spare you and save you the time. It's your problem, at which point your job is very much on the line here. So I agree very much with the Carolina move, 5.5. I do think Carolina, a desperate 0-2 team, they have not been bad. There's only one thing that's been terrible, and it's Bryce Young. If you get an upgrade with Andy Dalton, then they are going to be more than capable of moving the football against a Raiders defense that ranks in the bottom third in just about every statistical category. When you consider who Carolina has played the first couple of weeks, they are a couple of top 5 defensive teams in red zone against chasing the quarterback. This has been a brutal start to the season for Carolina. I do not blame the market for backing Carolina. I also don't blame the market for now getting this total up and over 40. It's hovering around 40.5. It wouldn't shock me if it hits 41. We saw Devontae Adams. We saw possibly what could be very much a big-time rookie of the year in Brock Bowers, the tight end for the Raiders out of Georgia, really start to come into his own here. I think even at 40.5, this is woefully undervalued. I think the total is where to look. I figured this to be somewhere around 28 to 21, 24-20. Either way, we're going to get way, way over 40 points in that game. Plus, I think we're finally going to see a competent offense in the Carolina Panthers. But you got to look at that move and say, how does a brand new head coach who was hired to fix my prized possession and my number one draft pick that I mortgaged the franchise for because I wanted him, and it was a disaster last year. You were brought in purposely to make sure that you could fix him and you could make him a quarterback. Well, you basically told the entire league, the world, and your owner and your boss, we can't win with this kid. So it very much better look like a competent offense with Andy Dalton. Otherwise, we could be looking halfway through the year at a winless Carolina team who is also in search of yet another head coach. Talk about urgency. You got to love that. Not to mention, the Raiders are coming off of that ridiculous win, outright win against the Baltimore Ravens. This has got letdown written all over it. But again, that is just one of many games here where teams who are 0-2, their back is against the wall. So tell me what happens to Zach Taylor if the Bengals don't win this game against the Commanders. The Bengals are going to start 0-3 and then basically watch any chance of a postseason berth go out the window statistically. This is a big game for the Bengals, too, on Monday night. Although the Washington Commander money has started to come in. This was as high as 8.5. We're starting to see 7.5 now. I don't see any way in which the Bengals should not be used in teasers this weekend. Get the Bengals down to -1, -1.5. Use them in your teasers. The Bengals just have to win the game, essentially, and I think they will do that. And I love Jaden Daniels, but I don't love him against Lou Anarumo and the Bengals defense, who I think is going to have its way with this Washington Commanders team. Come on back and join us. We got much more Major League Baseball, college football, NFL coming your way next here on The Grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions on this Wednesday in the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri, welcoming in our good friend Adam Kaufman here, who's got his finger on the pulse of the final 11 games or so here, Adam, of the regular season, 162-game season. It's kind of hard to believe, but it is almost done, and postseason baseball will be upon us. We did get one team, didn't even play, but they were the first team to clinch earlier today in the Milwaukee Brewers. And I've been saying, Adam, all show long, say what you want about the Brewers. who didn't get a whole lot of love preseason to win that division. A lot of Cards and Cubs love. But they have been one of the most consistent teams we've seen all year, despite all the injuries and things that they've had to go through. And yet, I think it's fitting they're the first team to actually clinch a playoff spot here.
It's true. And I wish I had just a little bit more zest and gumption, or whatever the word we want to look for when it comes to the Milwaukee Brewers. It just, unfortunately, despite their successes on the field this year, Joe, it feels like every time that I invest in them, the game goes the other way. And so I'm a little bit sour when it comes to Milwaukee. That being said, I like the spot tonight against the Phillies. I mean, how can you not with Freddie Peralta on the mound? I know that Aaron Nola's had himself a season for Philadelphia as well, but Peralta, you just look back. I mean, not even just over the course of the year, where clearly he's been very good, a sub-4 ERA, but of late especially, 1 run allowed last time out at Arizona. The 2 previous starts were not quality starts in terms of length. He didn't go the 6 innings. I don't even know if people refer to quality starts in baseball anymore, but he didn't allow more than 3 earned runs. And then last month across the board, he was exceptional. He had an ERA sub-3 for all of his starts during the month of August. And so, again, I like Peralta to just kind of keep doing what he's doing. As you said, they're playoff bound. They're, Central's in their pocket. It's just a matter of taking care of business and not getting complacent here down the stretch.
Yeah, and they're still very much alive for the possibility of the best record in the National League in that 1 seed. So I don't expect any of these teams over the next couple of days, for those that do clinch a spot, like the Yankees, for instance, tonight. I don't think they're going to take their foot off the gas at all. But I'm also hearing a lot of chatter that one of the games going on right now, no score here in the 3rd inning, but is Houston-San Diego a preview of what the World Series is?
I think it's possible. It still sort of throws me. I still think of Houston like they belong in the National League, but it's entirely possible. Obviously, these two teams could clash in the World Series. I like this game a lot tonight. I mean, it's a great pitching matchup, obviously, and as much as it is difficult to go against Dylan Cease, I just think there's a lot of clout on that Houston side. I'm invested in the Astros full game money line, first 5 money line. I just like the Astros tonight. I think it's a superior matchup there on the Houston side, and we'll see how it bears out. I know that game is underway, of course, scoreless, so people can still jump in and get a play on it at pretty similar odds to what they were pregame. The thing with just sort of projecting ahead to, like you said, a potential World Series preview, that type of thing, I mean, you can always do the exact matchup outcomes and throw a little lottery ticket together, try and make some money as we get closer to October, all of that. And I love it. I support it. It's just, we saw, I mean, look at last year in particular, with this new format and the expanded wild card format and real series in all of it, and leading up to the divisional round, the championship series, and then obviously the World Series, it's a little bit like the hot goalie in hockey, where 7 and 8 seeds can make a run. And, you don't see it as much in basketball, more often than not in the NBA, talent wins out. But in Major League Baseball, your pitching on one particular side just has to get hot for a few days, and that can be enough to carry you. We've seen it time and time again. You had 2 wild card teams representing their respective conferences, if you will, AL and NL, in the World Series last year. There's no telling as to why that couldn't happen again. And so, it's so tough for me as far as betting a baseball future, and the variance in this sport, game to game, day to day, hell, inning to inning, let alone projecting ahead to the playoffs, is so, it's unlike any other sport. It'll make you pull your hair out, obviously. I'm happy I have any left after the way this season has gone for me personally. So, it's a little tough to sort of navigate that. I personally, I wouldn't invest in it right now as we sit in mid-September. I'd be more interested in, like you said, we're 10, 11, 12 days, whatever left in the regular season. Let it play itself out. Let's get exactly what the series and the first round matchups look like and kind of go from there.
Yeah, and seeding looks like it might very well matter to some teams here. So still a lot to play for, which is what Rob Manfred of Major League Baseball wanted. They wanted these games to matter down the stretch. they're going to have a chance to matter. I know there were a lot of people very concerned with the injury to Francisco Lindor, that the Mets were going to have a problem winning games and hitting the ball. That doesn't seem to be happening here. They're with the Nats again here tonight. That game just underway. Quintana against DJ Hurts in this one. What are you thinking?
So, like you said, it's just underway, so it's a little tough to jump in on my favorite bet, which is hers going over on strikeouts. 4.5 was the line. Now, heavily juiced. I mean, It was right around minus 160. So, again, like we're not messing around. You might be, if you like it as much as I do, you'd be better off just going to over 5.5 on an alt and getting plus money on it, doing it that way. But you look at what hers has done lately, and, you know, I wanted to make sure sort of my intuition and the reality matched up, and I was digging into his box score. 5+ Ks, which again is what we're looking for tonight. 5+ Ks in 6 straight starts and 8 of 9. And also, the last time he faced the Mets, he struck out 10, didn't even get to 100 pitches. So this guy is just, you know, I don't want to call him a flamethrower per se. Again, there are a lot of 5 and 6 strikeout games in there. But I think as a strikeout pitcher, he's a little disrespected with regard to his prop. Over 4.5, I just don't understand it, and so I pounced on it right away.
Yeah, he's actually been pretty good here too. I like this Nats team. Next year, I'm going to be looking real close at some of their numbers here, because I think they're the future is bright for the Nationals moving forward with all those young arm and talent there. All right, speaking of talents, got a big Thursday night game coming up tomorrow night. Is there any talent on that game? We'll talk about it next.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Adam Kaufman as we get ready for to kick off Week 3 in the NFL. Adam, tomorrow night, MetLife Stadium, as the New England Patriots will take on the New York Jets. Interesting scheduling spot, too, for the Jets. I think, third game in 10 days. This is an interesting spot, but they are coming off a nice win against Tennessee on the road. This is their opening game. We were just talking off air. I didn't have the Patriots 1-1 on my bingo card heading into this game. But even more so with a overtime loss, by the way, with an opportunity to be 2-0. I was just saying, I could not have been more impressed with the style of football they're playing, because even with Jacoby Brissett or Drake May, that's very sustainable. You're going to be in games and a chance to win games you shouldn't. Do they win this game on the road tomorrow against the Jets?
So I don't think so. That being said, I wouldn't be shocked. How can you be? I mean, this is a team that, as you alluded to, really should be 2-0. No one saw them beating the Bengals, although I think, we need to just annually, like, set an alarm in your phone to remember just before week 1 that the Bengals, for whatever reason with Joe Burrow, absolutely blow in weeks 1 and 2 of his career. It has been a trend all the way through, and they are sitting here, sure enough, at 0-2. Sure, injuries have contributed to that, or contract situation, whatever else, but it's just the results. They bear it out. Burrow stinks in weeks 1 and 2. Even still, they were the biggest favorite on the board that week. I absolutely did not think the Patriots were going to win that game, and I was invested the other way. I hate betting against the team that I root for, but I did, and I got screwed. So hats off to the Patriots. And I'll tell you what, they should have beaten the Seahawks too. Again, a game that most people thought would go the other way. So did I. I thought the Seahawks were going to win it sort of convincingly, not needing to come back late with a field goal and then ultimately win it in overtime, but they did. And, you and I were talking about it off air a little bit. This Patriots team is pesky. They are in their first year under Gerard Mayo, but they're well coached. There's buy-in. I wondered what the defense in particular was going to look like with no Bill Belichick, Matt Judon traded away, Christian Barmore, one of their better defensive players, out indefinitely, maybe the entire year, dealing with his blood clot situation. What is the remainder of Kyle Duggar and Keon White and, guys like that going to look like? Christian Gonzalez, obviously. But it's looked pretty damn good. It has been a really solid defense so far through 2 weeks. So do I think they'll beat the Jets? I don't. But I really like that +6.5. I think New England is absolutely going to hang around and keep it close. And I don't see us having a blowout here on Thursday Night Football.
I don't, but I will say, and I know in the Boston market, they got to be talking about the injuries are ridiculous for the Patriots here. Three of their starting offensive linemen, I believe Bentley, too, your stud linebacker, looks like he's gone. I think there's another linebacker gone. I mean, the injury list when it came out for the Patriots is concerning on a short week, is it not? Especially with those key positions.
It is, and, you hit on this before, too, on the other side. Let's not forget the NFL has done the Jets no favors in terms of their schedule. They open up Monday Night Football at San Francisco, turnaround short week game on a Sunday, also on the road at Tennessee. Then you need to come home for your home opener, again, a short week on Thursday. So that, coupled with the fact that Aaron Rodgers, who is still sort of working his way back after not playing in the preseason, really not playing any real football in almost 2 full years. And then, the first 2 weeks, yes, he's healthy, so we're happy about that, but he hasn't looked particularly good. People are hammering his unders, especially in terms of the passing yards. So it might just be catching them at the right time. The Patriots kind of caught both their previous teams that they have faced at the right time. This might be another one here. So you're right. The Patriots are dealing with situations. Bentley is going to miss time, maybe the whole year. And so that's a problem. It's another hit to the defense, but they've overcome the whole next man up thing. It's worked out. The offensive line has been trash all the way throughout the year. I mean, it's been a concern going back to the offseason, preseason games, through the first 2 games, like Jacoby. It's the whole reason you don't see Drake May, the number 3 overall pick, out there, is that that line is going to get Jacoby Brissett killed. And so, he's going to be scrambling around fighting for his life. They're going to be leaning on Ramondre Stevenson a lot, and Antonio Gibson to some degree as well, which they have done through the opening couple weeks. Maybe Hunter Henry continues to be something of a safety blanket. We'll see. But it's going to be get the ball, get rid of it quick.
Feels like Patriots team total 16.5. Feels like an under. Right? I mean, because it really does feel like a 17-10. Feels like a 17-10 kind of game. It really does. Adam Kaufman, always a pleasure, man. Enjoy the games. Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the Sports Grid Network. I'm Joe Raineri. A lot to get ready for here this week. Week 3 of the NFL, week 4 of the college football season, Major League Baseball postseason will be here. And Brady Cannon in the house, stepping in for us here on the Sports Grid Network. And Brady, we were just talking. It has been a very interesting start to the season for sports books. The public is pretty much already out of their bankroll, from what I understand. This has been one of the most unbelievable starts to the season, coming off a year in which favorites and the betting public crushed it last year, as I remember it, Brady, but not so much so far this year. The dogs, the big dogs, look at these numbers on the board this week. Have you ever seen in week 3 this many totals under 40 points?
It's like the entire league is down as far as passing. The running backs are going nuts, and the quarterbacks can't throw their way out of a paper bag. It's a very odd year in the NFL. And you talk about, survivor pools and favorites and underdogs. I mean, I think it's underdogs anywhere from 6 to 8 points have covered every single game so far this season, and a handful of them have won outright. I mean, if you look at last week, the 49ers go down, the Ravens go down, the Dallas Cowboys go down, the Detroit Lions go down, and I'm missing one other one. I can't recall off the top of my head, but just a number of big favorites. It's like if you're in Survivor, are you going to really feel good about picking a road favorite, the Chargers or the Jets? And, that's what you had to have done last week. Because you're not taking the Eagles. The Eagles are the other team that went down on Monday night that were a big favorite. I've done pretty well so far, Joe, against the spread, both my personal betting and also with our football contest show. We've done pretty darn well against the spread. The consensus, the top 5 most popular picks in the Circa Sports Million through 2 weeks are 1-9. So we're like a game above 500, and we're in the top 25% of the pool because the majority has gone 1-9. So against the spread, we're okay. But, we went into the year with 3 survivor entries. We lost one in week 1 with the Bengals. We pushed all our chips in week 2 with the Ravens, and you know what happened there. So no more Survivor for us, but doing pretty well in the Super Contest and the Circa Million.
Well, it's going to be an interesting week 3 in Survivor, because I'm about to submit the Jets, and you may never see me again, Brady. So it's been a pleasure doing the show with you, because if the Jets cost me a Survivor entry, I'm going to absolutely lose myself. But you mentioned
just get it over
Eagles.
quick. I'm with you on picking the Thursday game.
Like.
It's like I either want to move on or get out.
About.
I'll be
that
done
is
with it.
Something to be said about getting the Thursday out of the way. I either have all weekend to hate myself, or this way I don't have to worry about it and hope for disaster. But there is no way the Eagles lose back-to-back games, is there?
No, and I think the Saints I'm not sold on them yet. I'm not going to say they're overrated, but I'm not sold on this team yet, especially in the role of a favorite. I understand last week, my numbers, the way it's spelled out for me is the Saints were a play. I had them like +5, and they were getting, I think a full 7. But I didn't really want to go there because I felt Dallas is so tough at home. How many home games had they won in a row? Was it like 16 or something like that? And New Orleans comes in there and just steamrolls them. And were we really going to, buy in on New Orleans completely after destroying Carolina? Do we really care what any team does to Carolina? So I'm still not sold just yet. We'll see what happens this week. And yeah, I do believe that the Eagles bounce back. I took the Eagles plus the 3, -115, had to pay a little bit of juice there. A lot of 2.5s in the market. Could be a very good teaser leg on Philadelphia as well.
You bring up the Panthers. Just a fascinating move this week where the guy that you hired to fix your number 1 draft pick walked into your office and said, he's got to go. I can't win with him. After 2 weeks. And now you're bringing in Andy Dalton. What happens if it doesn't work with Andy Dalton, Brady? Just exactly what's next for you, Dave Canales? Because you just basically put your entire football head coaching in Andy Dalton's basket here. And I think it'll probably work out. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot better than what they had before. And we even saw that last year. I think Bryce Young got injured for a couple games or what have you, and Dalton came in, and he was certainly an improvement. Obviously, he's got the experience. He's got the veteran know-how. But I think there's also a lot of different angles on how you can expect the rest of the team to react to this change. And I think every one of them is positive. They can either look at this like, okay, they got rid of our guy. We got to step up and do it for him. Or, hey, they got our new guy in here. We got to prove ourselves to our new guy and Andy Dalton. Or you can also think, kind of to your point, if it doesn't work now, then people are just going to say this entire team is a train wreck. But that team, the rest of the team, can think to themselves, hey, here's our chance to show that we don't stink and that it's that guy's fault. So, that it's Bryce Young's fault. They got rid of the problem, and we're not the problem, and we're going to show the world that we're not the problem. And now we've got a quarterback that we have faith in. That's kind of the scenario I see playing out here. And, oh, by the way, they're taking on the Raiders, who I don't, think are great shakes. Yeah, they pulled off a, down by double digits in the fourth quarter win over the Ravens last week. I got to believe there's a little bit of a letdown coming off of that. Their defense is pretty darn good. Overall, I don't think they're that good of a team. It's a pretty good opponent for Carolina to probably get right with. And I did play the Panthers plus 5.5. We've seen it come down to 5. I made the number 4.5. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 4.5 or 4 by the time we get to kickoff.
Yeah, I mean, listen, scheduling matters too. It's not like they played cupcakes defensively, Carolina. They played a couple of top 5 defenses in red zone against the rush, this is a bottom third defense at best right now. This is the right game to get right. And I think if Canales pulls this off, otherwise you lose the locker room, you lose the team if you keep doing what you're doing there. So, but I don't know what to do with this Charger. You said you don't trust the Saints. How much do you trust the Chargers right now? And I know what the Chargers mean to you, Brady. So go ahead. Let me hear. Go ahead.
Well, you know what? I kind of trust Jim Harbaugh more than I do the Chargers. And I liked how Harbaugh, one of his first comments this week was, okay, this is a playoff game now. And it's week 3. It's obviously not a playoff game, but he said, that was respect for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is the real deal. We're going to play a real football team now. We got past the Raiders and we got past the Panthers. It's time to buck up and get serious. He stayed true to his motto of run the football. J.K. Dobbins has been going nuts. And let's look at the Steelers. Their offense has been awful. They've played the Broncos and the Falcons, who we know have not been terrific. The Broncos are 0-2. The Falcons, I think they were shell-shocked by that Steelers defense in week 1. And the Chargers defense is actually allowing less points per game than the Steelers are. So you've got a team in the Chargers that's allowing, I think, just over 6.5 points a game on average, going up against another very weak offense in the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the number makes sense to me. I made it 2.5. I took 2. There's 1 or 1.5s in the market just about everywhere now. I think it's probably going to close right in that neighborhood. I don't know if it's going to go down further. I think you're probably going to get two-way action at 1 or 1.5. And I'll take the Chargers because I think they can absolutely hang tight and if not win the game.
Yeah. Going to be fascinating to see how this moves on. Really, here we are in week 3, Brady, and we still have more questions than we do have answers for some teams. And to think it all starts again tomorrow night at MetLife. Unbelievable. Brady Cannon, we appreciate it as always, man. Good luck with those plays and game time decisions. We'll be back after this on the Grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the Sports Grid Network as we look to close out this edition. Plenty of Major League Baseball with a lot still on the line happening over the next week and a half as teams try to solidify their playoff spots. And, of course, still a little jockeying for position here. Those number one seeds in both the American League, National League, still up for grabs. A lot can happen here. Nobody knows it better than Scotty Wetzel who've taken over here at the top of the hour for some in-game live, Scotty, and actually some really good games. I mean, this is what Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball wanted. 11 games left and a lot still to be determined. I mean, so it's win-win for Major League Baseball during football season to have games that matter here. This many games that matter, Scotty, over the final week and a half of the season.
Yeah, it really is, Joe. You know, we talk about this all the time in the last couple of weeks of the NFL season. We always look at games and say, all right, there's only 1 or 2 games that really don't mean anything, right? You can do that with baseball as well. You know, this week in particular, you know, you look at all the series that are going on, there's only a handful that at least something is on the line, whether it's for the division, the wild card, division races amongst the division leaders, because remember, you don't want to be the third division leader, because if so, then you're playing in the goofy opening best-of-3 wild card round. So there's even kind of a challenge amongst that. So I've said this before, Joe, if you're not into baseball, you don't have to be. You're not, wrong. But if you're not into baseball this year, then you're just never going to be into baseball in September, because everything. You have big market teams, Mets, Atlanta, Dodgers fighting for the best record in the National Leagues, trying to stay out of that number 3 spot. So if you're not interested in baseball this year, then you're just never going to be in September.
So we an interesting game coming up here between Texas and Toronto, Scotty, where I believe both teams combined for 21 runs yesterday, but you got Francis going for Toronto, and I like Cody Bradford. I like this kid. I don't think they're getting 21 runs here tonight, but how do you approach this game coming up?
Yeah, I tell you, has there been a more hard luck pitcher than Bowden Francis, right? Not one, but 2 games the poor guy has lost, no hitters in the 9th inning, though, with 2 outs, no less, both time. I mean, just like, so. But the guy's been terrific. It's not going to be a high-scoring game. You're right. I like Bradford as well. But Francis has allowed 2 runs or less in 6 of his last 7 starts. Bradford only 2-4 last 6, or at least the Texas Rangers anyway, when he pitches. He did give up 8 runs his last outing. Maybe that's an anomaly, or maybe he's kind of run out of gas. But he got blasted the last time out. So I got Toronto. It's one of those meaningless games that we just talked about. There really aren't that many. Well, we found one. But give me Toronto with Francis on the hill tonight at even odds, maybe minus 106, depending on where you do your shopping.
Yeah, I know. I love because it gives you 2 very young pitchers that have been absolutely fantastic. And, the market's always going to overreact to 21 runs the night before. The Yankees scored. I can't believe it. I don't think Seattle has seen that many runs in a game in a long time, because certainly they didn't score any. So I don't know. What are we going to get? Nasty Nestor on the mound on the road? What are we doing this one?
Yeah, we were all over Brian Wu last night, right? First loss for the Mariners this year with him starting at home. The very first one. I mean, sometimes it's tough to win, right? It just is. So we're going to reverse sides on the field. Let's go with the Stankies. They put him in the bullpen, or at least they told him he was going to be in the bullpen, and he got all ticked off. Nestor Cortez, he pitched great baseball his last time out, allowed just 1 run against the Red Sox. So maybe that was a little spark that he needed. So let's go with Cortez on the road. Yankees basically pick them. They're playing well. Seattle's basically been in a second-half funk since the All-Star break, Joe. So give me the Yankees basically pick them odds at Seattle tonight.
There's got to be a strikeout prop in that game you're looking at. There's got to be.
Oh, yes. Over 5.5 for Cortez. I almost forgot about that. Over 5.5 strikeouts for Cortez.
It's Seattle.
It's Seattle. Right. Exactly. The number 1 strikeout team in baseball. You and I can get 5 strikeouts against the Mariners these days. So give me Cortez over 5.5. Like I said, he seems to have a little spark under his belt since they threatened to throw him in the bullpen. So over 5.5 for the Yanks.
I like that. And you like Judge to have 2 or more bases here, which could be done rather quickly?
Yeah, I do, Joe. You know what? He was in a funk in August. His numbers in August were horrible after he had that great little run anyway to start the month with his home runs. But then the second half of the month, he was awful. But he's picked it back up again here mid-September. He's got 2 bases or more in 4 straight games. He's got hits in 8 of his last 9 games. He's 11 for his last 31. you know, these home run hitters, they're streak hitters. And when they get on these streaks like he is right now, boy, you want to play him a home run, you're getting almost 2.5 to 1. I didn't do that. I said, let me go with the 2 bases at plus 110 odds. But I would be playing Aaron Judge over the next couple of days because he seems to be back on fire.
I can't believe it's at plus money, actually. I think that's a tremendous value play there alone. All right, tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football, NFL Week 3 kicks off. It's the Jets. What happens here? I don't know. That's the sad part, Scott.
I know. This is the largest the Jets have been favored against the Patriots in 25 years, literally. But that's because they never beat the Patriots, right? The Patriots are 23-3 last 26 meetings. Now, the Jets have won a couple recently, I must say, because I kind of remember that being like 23-1 or something similar to that. But it's still 23-3. Oddly enough, Joe, Thursday night home teams, which you would think would have a decided edge in these Thursday short week games, right? Not the case. They're 35-37 straight up, so they got a losing record, and against the spread, 29-43. 14 games under 500. So I think the boys in Vegas inflate the lines. I think they know that people always bet the home team. Maybe the Jets find a way to win. They should, but I don't know if they're going to win by a touchdown or more. Patriots have, for all their faults, they've actually played fairly well the first 2 weeks. So give me the Patriots plus the 6.5.
It's crazy, too, because call me nuts. I mean, the style of football the Patriots are playing is sustainable, Scotty. It's not like they're playing above their head. They're probably going to have an opportunity to win some games that they shouldn't there. All right, don't go anywhere, Scotty, because I got to ask you about your Dolphins and the Cowboys coming up.
What we do. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was clicking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions as we close out this edition, but have no fear, much more coming your way here on the SportsGrid Network. In fact, Scotty Wetzel is in the house. He'll be taking over here in just a couple of minutes for in-game live. Plenty of Major League Baseball action to get you caught up with. And Scotty, before I let you go here, I wanted to get your thoughts on your Miami Dolphins, who have one of the most interesting line moves that I have seen here. Still plenty of talent, Tyreek Hill, Waddle and company. They're traveling to Seattle. The look-ahead line for this game was Miami being a favorite, a 4 or 5 point favorite to go out to Seattle. But without Tua and with Skylar Thompson, same weapons, now they're getting 4.5, 5 points. That is a huge swing.
do you agree with it here? Is Miami's season done, or is there still hope?
No, there's still hope, Joe, right? Listen, I'm a biased Dolphin fan, but I'm not a Tua fan at all. So you telling me he's worth basically 10 points? I don't think so. We talked about it during the break, right? Skylar Thompson, he's been on this team now for 3 years. So if he's not any good, what is he still doing on the team? One, and they got rid of all the other quarterbacks, the Mike Whites of the world and all the other, they're all gone. That's why they had to go pick up Tyler Huntley. So, I mean, if he's not any good, why would they do that knowing that it's Tua, and he's a hiccup away from getting hurt? So you got to believe in him. He nearly won the playoff game. His numbers weren't great 2 years ago against Buffalo, but he's been in the system a couple of years. Tua, say what you want about him, but he doesn't play well against winning teams anyway, so maybe this is a blessing in disguise, believe it or not. And then Geno Smith as a favorite, Joe, he's terrific as an underdog, but as a favorite, 10 and 15 against the spread, so maybe Seattle wins, maybe, but I don't think they're going to cover 4.5. I'd be surprised if the Dolphins weren't in this game. Extra days as well to prepare for the contest because they played last Thursday.
I agree with you 100%. What you knew this was always a possibility, unfortunately, after 7 concussions with Tua. He was always going to be one hit away from you needing a backup quarterback. And this was the guy you landed with. Like you said, you let Mike White and anybody go, and this was the guy you chose. So we're going to see whether or not Mike McDaniels and the organization have enough faith in him to be able to carry this team for the near future. But I'm with you. I think that's far too many points here for a swing against the Seattle Seahawks. All right, Scotty, get out of here. Appreciate it, my man. We'll see you here coming up top of the hour for In-Game Live. As Scotty and the crew will have you all set up. I mean, plenty of Major League Baseball action already underway. And really, the Baltimore Orioles, you've got to be kidding here. You want to talk about limping into the postseason at home, with an opportunity here to be able to get one back after being blanked 10-0 last night against the Giants. They've lost 7 of their last 9, and they're now down 4-2. Top of the 5th inning in that one as the Giants are out in front there. Just the wheels falling off for Baltimore. Atlanta figured out how to score a run. Schellenbach on the mound for them. Out in front of the Reds, 1-0 in that game. The Astros down 1-0 to the Padres. That was the pitching battle of the night with Framber Valdez taking on Dylan Cease in Petco Park there. A lot of people think maybe that is a preview of what is going to come over the next month there in the World Series. Could it be the Astros? Could it be the Padres? We've seen the Dodgers are done messing around with the Marlins after that debacle last night. They're out in front 6-0 right now in the bottom of the 5th there. Rays out on top of the Red Sox 1-0. And the Guardians and Twins, big game. Bailey Ober on the mound for the Twins. The Twins are another one of these teams limping to the finish line here. They're out in front 2-1 right now against the Guardians. And again, the Guardians and Yankees are battling for that number 1 seed, the top spot in the American League, for that coveted bye and opportunity to set their rotations up accordingly. So the Guardians down a run there. Also the Royals and the Tigers. Again, who would have thought that? Tariq Skubal on the mound for the Tigers here tonight. No score in that one. Mets and Nats also no score with Quintana and Hurts on the mound. Got a couple of games getting ready to go out west here tonight, including culminating with the Yankees. One more win, and they are in, and they will clinch that playoff spot. So that game coming up tonight, but don't go anywhere. Scotty Wetzel, Dave Sherapan coming up here. In-Game Live, straight ahead here on the SportsGrid Network. GameTime Decisions will be back again tomorrow. Enjoy your night. We'll see you again soon.